dudes are having sex with other dudes, bro. That might come for you.
You know, sweet love, sweet love.
Yeah, I'm about to say make sweet love.
That's young buck breaking right there.
Make sweet love.
There's rules to rap beef now, bro. Not in your day.
Well, I'm saying like, God, man, why's your homeboy so close to you when you come out of there? Look like you guys just made sweet love. I'm gonna say sweet love instead of anything that says.
To me, that's better because they're gonna try to make it something else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was smart. Like I didn't think about that. I say things that are borderline. Like I'm like, oh my God, you're in trouble.
You?
Like all the time. Because I just say.
Nah, but you got close when he offered to take you shopping.
Yeah, you see, Amika's in the same shirt. He's out there in the same shirt. This is not shit. This is really I'm just saying. No, stop it, man. You set that up. Look, you set that up. This dude, he's in the same shirt.
What do you mean he's in the same shirt?
Obviously was not offended by what I was offended by. This is what I'm saying, bro. Nah, it was odd. Like, this is some of the things that people say. Like, guys may say to a girl, let me take a shot. See?
Damn.
They found it that quick.
What do you think's happening in the middle?
I don't know what's going on.
Wow, they found Kendrick and Wifey.
You can't dress up Kendrick like that. Oh, you can't dress him up like that. That's like the White Chicks movie, bro. You can't do that.
Yeah, that was comedy. That was good.
Yeah, but that was
away with Wifey.
that's obviously doing chopping. They got the same outfit.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's a nice shirt. That was a nice shirt.
All right, so when he said the shopping line in real life, what did you say?
I said, let me get away from him. Because it was like, he was like, yo, you hot now. We gotta hang out now. Like, hang out.
Yeah.
He said, I don't know, man. I take you shopping and I get you some flash and you can give me the hood shit. And I was looking and I was like, let me just move away from him because I'm gonna mess up the wedding. I always say to myself,
it was someone's wedding?
It was Chris Lighty's wedding. It was in Miami. Nori's there. Nori knows this. And I looked at him like, yo. You heard what he just said, right? He's like, yo, certain things they let it go by because it's puff. Like they would look, like he would say stuff, and it's like he wasn't like in the closet, he was like in the hallway. Now you see so much shit. Yeah, you go away. No, this was visible.
He was in the hallway. We saw the video. We saw that video.
It comes out later. You're like, that's not the closet. That's the hallway. He didn't get off out.
It all began with the tragic and mysterious death of Aaron Carter, a pop star who once captivated millions with his music and charm. At the peak of his fame, he was a global sensation, winning hearts worldwide. But his sudden and untimely passing in the safety of his own home sent shockwaves through his fans, leaving a cloud of unanswered questions. Found lifeless in his bathroom, the official report ruled his death as an accidental drowning, caused by the inhalation of compressed gas. However, almost immediately, whispers of doubt emerged. Was it really a tragic accident, or could it have been a dark, sinister message? An eerie warning to silence anyone daring to challenge the powerful?
He's like, no, but he did party. Yeah. And I'm like, they let that one go? Like, I had to say something about it later because I was like, oh, it was fair.
What does it feel like all these years, you being the only one calling this out?
I look like I've been the crazy guy for a long time.
They say you're a hater. They say you're
crazy. Yeah, and now everybody's complaining. My ass is hurting. There's all this shit that's coming.
50, you can't make jokes about it.
No.
The internet might come for you, bro.
All I'm saying
it might come for you.
You see it now. All of these complaints. People were damn, they were and pillaged. This was what was going on. Right? And what do I get for that? I went through years of a hater. You're a hater. You want this and that. I'm just watching. Like, I look at things and go, when you see the new lawsuit coming with Jay, the part with Jay, I go, oh, shoot. Like, then I think about it, I go, that had to be there. So when I was saying that he was missing, he just wasn't actively being out there because they was dealing with that.
Wait, do you think there's truth to the Jay thing? There's no way.
Like that, look, like if you say, I have this thing where I'm conflicted when it takes you 20 years to remember something that happened to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I go also 10 years, 20 years later, and it comes back. And it's like all of Puff's problems are coming from the ministers touching little boys.
What you mean?
The laws are the way they are because the
Because
Because of the priests.
priests touching little boys.
Oh. Why are we looking at me, bro? I just go to church. I just go to church. Bro. I have nothing to do with this. I have an alibi.
That's why the laws allow you to go
A lot
that
of
far
people
back.
turn away from you right now.
I'm just a Catholic kid.
You said you've been dead.
No.
What's the body of Christ take?
It's sacrilegious. You can't do that.
He's like, yo, drink my blood.
Yo,
So it is crazy when after 20 years they come out. That shit is foul.
But with Puffy, you were the only one saying anything for decades.
yeah, because we had our own little thing.
But you were the only.
What was
Everybody
your
else
thing?
is scared.
Huh?
But everybody else is scared. So you think maybe this is a similar thing where everybody else is scared? I don't know what it is. I'm just
Yeah, I
asking.
think that they're scared.
But if they're scared,
But
then
you've
maybe that's
been
what I'm saying.
insinuating Jay-Z a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, you've been saying people gonna come for him a little bit.
No, I
been
thought he would do funky stuff like the Super Bowl. Like it was not okay for me to be at the Super Bowl.
Oh, he tried to cut that.
Yeah, he didn't want me to. Well, they worked to make like there was an issue with me in the NFL that doesn't exist.
So
then-
he did the corporate way of
Yes.
trying to keep you down. Oh, it's
Doing
not me. It's not.
It's them. And then when M says he's not gonna do it if I'm not there, then,
Let's go.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, you know,
That's what I'm
What's
talking
your
about.
and Jay's issue?
it's just competitive stuff.
It's really just
This is what I'm saying. When it gets past actual art, like actual music, and you trying to block something that's in business, then it feels weird. It feels like we should be having beef.
Oh,
Okay.
So
I
that's
can
the
see
behind the scenes thing that we don't see. It's one thing when there's like people talking about each other in music.
In the months leading up to his tragic death, Aaron Carter appeared increasingly aware that something was amiss. His social media posts and public appearances revealed a man deeply unsettled. He openly expressed concerns for his safety, describing his own home, a place that should have been his sanctuary, as one filled with anxiety and fear. In one particularly eerie video, Aaron spoke about feeling threatened, his voice heavy with desperation as he begged the world to listen. These were not the thoughts of a carefree individual, but the desperate cries of a man tormented by the looming shadow of an unseen predator.
Because it does feel like like when you're in negotiations, it'll feel like their value went down. Like not as hot as you was last week when everybody was excited. And saying it feels different. Like, you know, like they're saying you lost. Like you get a phone call, even he's like, yo, you guys created the largest sales week in hip hop. And I'm like, yeah, but I lost.
Right.
Get off my phone.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I get this call from Steve Berman. They might Interscope now, but they like at that point.
And this is when you and Kanye were going?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta get the call. You go, what did you man, get the fuck off my phone?
Because when you look at it with the sales with you and Kanye,
Ah.
like y'all went on this whole who's gonna sell, and that first week Kanye did sell more.
Yeah.
But looking at the numbers, y'all won.
Yeah. No,
But you were like,
look at
nah.
this, babe, look. From a consistent sales history, I have the sales history. Interscope didn't do everything Def Jam done for Kanye's number to come back like that. They assumed because they didn't do everything to protect Drake. Because they assume Kendrick and this will be just like anything else that happens. Do you understand? Like they did everything he's saying they did in that lawsuit. They did it.
So you feel like it's valid on that point? Like, yeah, they did that.
I understand why you would do that if you was talking to a lawyer, but like in hip hop,
Right.
there's nothing to sue for. There's nothing that I didn't sue for that.
Is anything off boundaries when it comes to beef?
No,
Nothing's out of bounds.
nah.
What about going to their home city and putting on a full concert? Like
Twice.
Kendrick's going to Toronto for 2 nights.
And it's probably gonna be lit.
Right.
The shows are gonna probably be fucking lit. Like, what do you think is gonna happen there? Like, the energy is. You got people that like both of them. They're not gonna They're not gonna switch and just say I don't like both. These are the top artists in our culture right now. Like, are the new. It's prime time, big. This is the new.
Have you ever felt a certain way when you would beef with somebody? Like, damn, this is a lot. Or
You know what? If
did you really buy Ja Rule's tickets, like seats at his concert? You
They
did.
were cheap tickets. The tickets were very affordable. Yeah, I bought the first 4
How many?
rows.
How many did you buy? If you say you bought the first 4 rows, is that a
Yeah.
couple hundred?
Yeah, it was cheap though. It was cheap tickets, so it was something to do. Like if you don't look at me like that, man.
All right, man.
We know for years. It's just I looked at it. I said, "Yo, this is not." I just want you to feel like you gotta reach the people. It's like 4 or 5 rows back.
What is this? That 2 decades later, it's still this.
No, I mean it's not that big of a sacrifice for me. Now I've bought things that mean less to me.
Right.
That was fun. That was like watching it. Let me see the show and see the spaces are empty because they are reserved for someone else. They're not supposed to be sitting. That's brutal. That's so brutal.
Man. Hey, man, Fat Joe in the World Series. We just recently had Fat Joe in.
Yeah.
And Fat Joe came in, man. And first off, he said, man, I'm wearing my ass kisser outfit. He came in like a purple hoodie.
Some Laker gear.
With some, but you know, and Joe's my guy. And at one point, you and Joe wasn't seeing eye to eye.
Yeah.
And he explained that too about, you know, with Chris Lighty. And you know what I'm saying? Like, you just see things that in due time, grown men came together. And y'all really, like, even Buster.
Yeah.
Like, and Bust went out with Final Lap.
Yeah.
But it was at one time where you and Fat Joe, like, y'all weren't cool.
Yeah. And look, Joe's the kind of guy that you want to be friends with. He's loyal to a default.
Right.
Right. And at points, like if that person's not, if you don't have the connection with them, you're going to just not like it. Cause you're going to be like, what's wrong with them?
Right.
Like you don't have an issue, but it seems like you're uncomfortable.
Yeah. Association.
If a person's uncomfortable with your success, then they shouldn't mean anything to you.
Yeah.
Right. And at that point, that's what I was getting off him and that vibe. Big. So I'm just like, nah. And you know, I didn't invite these situations, but I didn't
run away.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I would look and go, oh, so you want a problem? Is that what you want?
Hey man,
I was already in mode for that. Like the vehicles is bulletproof and bomb-proof and everything, and I'm like, what? I'm already geared up for the whole thing. So it's like I'm like, oh, you thought you was like different.
How can that happen with Buster, Fat Joe? Is the gyro, is it deeper?
No, it's the same thing that you see Drake experience. So how did he just have... This is the op page.
Right.
On the day of Aaron Carter's death, neighbors, including a registered nurse, reportedly rushed to help. However, their efforts were mysteriously blocked by his house sitter, whose actions only deepened the sense of intrigue. The house sitter allegedly locked the doors and actively prevented anyone from entering, behaving erratically and raising suspicions. This puzzling conduct has only fueled theories of foul play, leading many to question the true circumstances of that fateful day.
Talking about that breaking news before the break, we are just learning that a judge has denied another one of rapper Sean Diddy Combs' requests to be released on bail. Remember, he's behind bars at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, waiting for his trial to get started next. Showing this for us. We were waiting for this decision. We got it in now. What do we know?
All right. Well, it's 5 pages. And the takeaway here is that the judge is saying that no condition or combination of conditions will reasonably assure the safety of the community. And that was what New York prosecutors were saying. I was in court twice last week, and I listened to these prosecutors say that he was a danger to the community. And they showed that video, that surveillance video of him from 2016, brutally beating his then girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, saying that he has a propensity to violence, and that alone is a reason why we cannot agree to the proposed bail package. Now, his team had offered $50 million, a home of his in Miami as collateral, and they said that he would live in an apartment on Manhattan's Upper East Side, monitored by 24-hour security, that he would only talk to his attorneys, that he would only have, certain family members on a pre-approved list, and that, he would actually be under stricter conditions than he is at the jail in Brooklyn. But clearly, this is the third time.
Yeah.
This judge not buying it.
What was Diddy like in court? You were there twice last week. What was his demeanor like?
I mean, he was smiling on Friday, turned around and looked at his children. All of his children were there except for his infant child. His mother was there. He looked a little thinner. He looked a little worse for wear. But has seemed upbeat and positive. And a few days earlier on Wednesday, so a week ago today, his legal team had a win, because his team was able to say that New York prosecutors wrongly obtained 16 pages of notes from his jail cell during a routine sweep, that it had his defense strategy, it had witnesses that they planned to call at the criminal trial in May, and the judge agreed that those should have been protected under attorney-client privilege. So there was a feeling today among reporter friends of mine and people in the building here that, maybe there's a chance that the judge, given he's taking several days to think about this, he asked for both sides to write a letter, that he might release him. But this is the third time. His team, we're waiting for a response from them, from his legal team. They could appeal again. But we were talking to Danny Ceballos earlier, and he said, they would have to propose something.
Back with some breaking news. A federal detention hearing for Sean Diddy Combs has just ended, and CNN's Kara Scannell is outside the courthouse in New York. Kara, obviously, this is a huge case. What just happened?
Yeah, Jake. So the magistrate judge overseeing this hearing today has remanded. We're saying that he has taken voluntary steps, including turning over his passport to his lawyers, saying he would report any of his movements to prosecutors. But the judge finding that that was just not enough. She said, my concern is that this is a crime that happened behind closed doors, even when pretrial services is monitoring. So she said there was nothing that his lawyers had offered that made her feel comfortable that he would return to this courthouse for subsequent court hearings and for a trial. She said that it was both his when he was using drugs and alcohol, that was a reason why she couldn't trust that he would not commit any additional crimes while he was left on bail. So Sean Diddy Combs is not going to be walking out this door. He is in federal custody, where he will be unless his lawyers are able to convince a different judge to release him.
Let's bring in criminal defense attorney Stacey Schneider. And Stacey, you say today's indictment reads like a mob indictment. What was most shocking to you of all these allegations?
Yeah, the fact, Jake, that the government in this indictment presented evidence alleging that Sean Combs was running a criminal enterprise, and they actually named it in the indictment, the Combs Enterprise. And they said that this enterprise consisted of him as the alleged leader, his employees, assistants, staff, allegedly, that were
Adding to the mystery is a cryptic connection to Hollywood's elite. Just before his death, Aaron Carter sent a tweet to Kanye West, requesting a private conversation. The timing of this message is undeniably eerie. What secrets did Aaron possess, and why did he feel the need to reach out to one of the most controversial and polarizing figures in the entertainment world? The unanswered questions surrounding this enigmatic death only intensify the intrigue.
It's very disturbing. The facts presented are out of a very bad Hollywood story. And a lot of the evidence, alleged evidence, that's been gathered in this case was from those two raids that were conducted on his personal homes in Miami and Los Angeles. And the indictment names the things seized that he allegedly made videos of these sexual performances that have been named freak-offs. And there seems to be a ton of evidence allegedly tying this scheme together. So it's an interesting way of prosecuting it, but I understand why they did it that way.
So what did you make of what Elizabeth Wagmeister just reported? And obviously, Sean Diddy Combs and his attorneys they're going to get their day in court. But the idea that the government, in their characterization, does not say that anybody did any of these things non-consensually. What do you make of that?
I make of that as being a big flaw already in the government's case, which the defense was quick to point out. Even if he was engaging in this alleged conduct, there was no allegation or no statement in that indictment saying that any of these alleged victims or alleged witnesses willingly participated in some of these acts that people find offensive, that sound to be offensive. And that's a very important part of the case. What was the consent? But there are enough charges here where outside of what the alleged victims are going to say about how he was using the resources allegedly from his enterprises, his businesses, his well-known Bad Boy Entertainment, his clothing line resources, his liquor line resources. Allegedly, there were funds used from that resources to engage in this alleged prostitution activity across state lines. And that's why it's a federal case, because it's across state lines. So there are some problems that the defense has brought up originally, but it seems like, just from reading this 14-page indictment, that there's enough physical evidence to perhaps get a conviction in this case. We shall see. These are allegations.
So the Office of the Southern District of New York seems awfully confident about their ability to handle the scope and complexity of the case. But still, why do you think it took them so long for them to go after Combs, considering the alleged crimes have been going on for more than a decade?
My theory is that the government had an easy time putting together this final prosecution because of all the civil actions existing against Sean Combs right now. The case with Cassie, which that video was shown, his former girlfriend, where he was seen assaulting her. It looked like certainly that he was assaulting her on video. I think the government and investigators were able to accumulate all this easy evidence that was just handed to them from the attorneys who prepared the civil cases that are now pending against him. I think things just started piling up, and eventually Sean Combs got to a place where his luck ran out, and therefore, he was indicted and arraigned.
Steph, thank you. We are following breaking news right now related to music mogul Sean Diddy Combs. Major new allegations today of sexual assault and exploitation by Combs. For the first time, we are hearing about victims who say they were minors when they were allegedly assaulted by the music star. The youngest allegedly just 9 years old. The allegations were revealed today by attorneys representing more than 100 alleged victims who are preparing to sue. So let's bring in NBC News entertainment correspondent Chloe Malas right now. So Chloe, we know there is currently a press conference underway. We do have live picture of that. Can you just walk us through these new allegations and tell us if we've heard from Combs yet?
So the individual that you see on the screen right now, that is an attorney based out of Houston, Texas, and his name is Tony Busby. He's been a part of some very well-known litigation over the years involving a BP oil spill, even involving the Astroworld Music Festival crisis where some individuals were killed during a stampede. So he has made headlines before, but this is pretty shocking. So he is claiming right now at this press conference that he has had over 3,000 individuals reach out to his law firm in Houston, Texas, that he and his team have been vetting these claims, that now they are representing over 120 accusers, and that over the next 30 days, they will begin to file different civil suits, that this is not a class action lawsuit, that they are going to continue to vet these allegations, but right now they feel strong about these. So he also said today that it's not just Combs that will be named, but what
Diddy now stands at the center of a storm of allegations. While controversy has always followed his career, the latest accusations against him have taken a chilling turn into an entirely new level of darkness. Federal investigators are reportedly looking into his potential connections to Aaron Carter's untimely death, as well as other high-profile cases. Among these is the still mysterious and much debated death of his ex-girlfriend, Kim Porter. If these revelations prove true, they could expose a web of secrets far more intricate and far-reaching than anyone could have imagined.